Hello everyone and welcome back to another redstone tutorial video. In today's episode I'm going to be going over how to build a copper farm in Minecraft 1.17. It is super simple, just a little bit of redstone, and I will show you exactly how to do it in this episode. In 1.17 we now know that Drowned will be able to drop copper instead of the gold that they drop right now. So it is going to be more important than ever to be able to farm Drowned in large numbers. Now, right now, Drowned farms are particularly inefficient because of the way that they spawn, and the only reason that you'd want to farm Drowned right now is for tridents. Now, when making a trident farm, you can only kill Drowned that spawn into the world naturally because that is the only way to get tridents. But when making a copper farm, you can kill any type of Drowned. So luckily for us, we can take zombies and then convert them into Drowned with submerging them in water, and then we can kill them to get their drops, making it much more efficient than a regular Drowned farm. Now, in your world, you can find these blocks, which are spawners. They can be for various different mobs. They can be zombies, skeletons, spiders, cave spiders, and endermites, but the ones that we are interested in are zombie spawners. Now, you need to understand sort of how these work. They work with a spawning range, which is a square around them, 4 blocks out and 2 blocks up, which means zombies can spawn anywhere within that range all the way around. So in order to make an efficient farm, we want to build a room around a zombie spawner in that size, and then we want to remove the zombies from this radius as quickly as possible, including 5 blocks to the side and 4 blocks below the spawner. If any mobs, and this is not just the mobs spawned by this spawner, but if any mobs are inside of that range, the spawner will be less efficient. So we want to drop them down right away and get them out of the range. So what we do is we build a room around the spawner and we drop them down out of this range into a trough that herds them together and then drops them into a chamber where they will be drowned and then down to where we can kill them. Now, this setup over here illustrates just that. Here is the spawner. We don't want anything to spawn on top of it, so we place 2 blocks on top. We drop everything down into water, which funnels the zombies all down into this 1 block, where they sit here waiting to be converted. Now they're out of the range of the bottom of this spawner, so more zombies can still be spawned without issue. And then they are dropped as this piston is pulled out into water, and they are drowned for a certain amount of time, which is 62 items in a hopper clock. And I just made that 63 somehow, but it is 62 items. And then as soon as they're converted, we pull a block out from underneath and a player is able to kill them from right here. Now, everything that you need to build this farm is in this chest right here. So you are going to need blocks, quite a few blocks, but keep in mind that where you do find your spawner, there will be a lot of blocks around it. So you won't actually need that many. It'll be more excavating than placing blocks. You're going to need water sources, a number of them, but a bucket and an infinite water source will do. And then you will need 1 water bucket to actually go in the dispenser for the farm. You'll need 15 redstone dust, an observer, 6 hoppers, 2 redstone blocks, 3 redstone torches, 3 repeaters, 5 comparators, 6 sticky pistons, a lever, the dispenser that I talked about, a water bucket, and then other blocks that you're going to need is some fence gates, spruce fence gates, 10 of them. It could be any type of fence gate, doesn't need to be spruce. Again, 1 trapdoor, doesn't need to be oak. A couple of slabs, doesn't need to be smooth stone. And some chests to collect the items. Now I'm going to show you how to build this farm from scratch. And if you do like this farm and this video, consider liking the video and subscribing if you're not already. First things first, you want to count down 8 blocks from the spawner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is going to be the platform that the water is going to run across. So then we need to go out 4 blocks in every direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the spawning range. So we want to create a floor at this level. And then keep in mind that in the middle, we're actually going to drop this down one block. So this will be one block lower. This will be open in the middle. This will be one block lower, leaving the middle open. And then on this side, we will complete the level in the square. And then for your room, what you'll want to have is the room completely enclosed. So you will just basically dig a hole this size and then dig your channel for everything to go down below. But I'm just going to illustrate where the walls will be with some blocks here. So the walls will be there, and then the walls will be here, and then you'll want the ceiling to come across here. So that will be the size of the room, and then of course all of this is wall. And then we will move down below. You need to cap the ends of these. Of course, they will already be capped if you are underground. And then we want to start making a channel that comes down here. And we want to drop the mobs down 2 blocks. And then we want to have a block for them to stand on. Then we want to come up top and we want to get our fence gates. This is important that they're gates, not posts. And we want to place them along the opening here, and we want to open them all the way across. So just like this, all the way across, and then you also want to have one down here, and then you want to take your water sources and place them along each wall, facing inwards all the way along, and then you want to come and place one down here, not up here. We want one down under this fence gate, and the same on the other side. So now all mobs are funneled into this one space in the middle. So now down below, we need to extend our column down here. So we want a sticky piston facing into the block that they're going to stand on, one away from it. And then just below that block, we want a dispenser facing inwards. That is going to put our water inside of the channel. And then 2 blocks lower, we want another sticky piston facing in, which is going to drop them out of the water chamber. And then we want to enclose this in blocks. Now keep in mind, I'm using glass so that this is easy to see, but you do not have to use glass. It can be solid blocks, it can be stone or whatever you like. Make sure there isn't one in front of that sticky piston and isn't one in front of this sticky piston. And then we will pull this block out using that piston, which they will drop down 2 blocks further, and then they will drop onto a hopper down here. So you want to place 2 hoppers facing into a chest. Then what you need to do is place a slab on this chest, 2 up from the chest, so it needs to be here. Now this is to make sure that you are still within range of the spawner up there, so you can see that it is still spinning. If I step 1 block further down, it's not spinning anymore. So you need to be up on this block in order for mobs to spawn, and then you want to encase this in so that nothing can get out. And then one last important thing that you do is put a trapdoor here, and this is just to ensure that if baby drowns spawn, that they cannot get out of here and attack and kill you. That is very important. Make sure that this trapdoor is in here, and then this is where you stand and kill all of the drowned from. Now we're ready to start doing some of the redstone to get this farm put together. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is place an observer facing away from this dropper or dispenser right here, and then you want to put the water bucket that we had filled inside of there. And then I'm going to use iron blocks to illustrate the blocks for the rest of this, just because it's easier for you to tell how many blocks I've placed down. But again, this can be any solid block. We want to place a block here, redstone torch on top of that, a block on top of it with another redstone torch on top of that, and that is going to dispense our water over there. Then we want to come down to the bottom, come down 1 block from here and out, place a comparator facing into the block with the redstone torch, come out a block to the side and a couple blocks back. We want to put a dust here, and then 2 repeaters both on 4 ticks, so all the way open. There, come back a little bit further, and we're just going to circle redstone around that. Now that is going to give a signal to here, and then 8 ticks later it's going to lock it. So the piston is going to retract for 8 ticks, allowing the mobs to fall out. The observer is going to tick the dispenser, pick up the water, and then 8 ticks later it's going to put the water back in, and that ensures that the drowned fall instead of swimming. Now the next thing that we need to do is build up one of 2 hopper clocks that are in this build. So we place a redstone block, and then facing into it we want a sticky piston, and then out the other side we want another sticky piston facing into it 1 block away, and then we want to come out underneath it 1, place a redstone dust, and then up 1 block to the side, down 1 block to the side, comparator. Repeat the same thing on the other side. So we want to come out 1, redstone dust, up 1, and then out 1 back, and comparator here. And then we need the hopper part of this hopper clock. So we want to place opposing hoppers here facing into each other. So hoppers just like this, facing directly into each other. And then in one of these, you want to place exactly 62 items. It does not matter what the item is, but 62, that is the amount of time it takes for the drowned to be converted. Now at this point, this hopper clock will always be on. So what you want to do is place a lever on the side of this block here and power it. And that will ensure that this stops running while you're building the farm and it doesn't keep ticking and moving everything. And this is also how you will disable the farm when not in use. Now, the last thing that we need to do is build up the clock that opens the top piston. So we want to come out from this torch right here, 1 block with a repeater on full tick. And then we want a block with a redstone torch on the opposite side of it. Now, that is going to power the dust on the hopper clock, just like our lever down here, disabling this hopper clock until the bottom piston is pulled out and pushed back in, and then more mobs are allowed to drop inside. So now we just have to build up another one of these hopper clocks, just like we had on the other side. So place a block on top of this torch, place a block in front, redstone dust on the front there, piston facing out from it. You'll have to hold shift now that the redstone dust changes. And then we need a redstone block on the end of that. Another piston facing into it the other direction, just like we did before. And then remember, we want to come up 1, out 1, and comparator. And then the exact same thing on the other side. So we want to go under, up, and then under, comparator facing into that block. We want a redstone dust over here, and then we need our hoppers facing into each other over here. And then the number of items that we want to place in this one is 16 blocks, exactly 16 items. Make sure that they stack up to 64, and that gives exactly enough time for this block to, this one right here, to be retracted, drop mobs in, pushed back in, and then it holds more mobs until these ones are dropped out. Now, we can't have this open all the time, because if we were constantly dropping them into here, they wouldn't have enough time to be converted by the time we pull out the bottom one. So that is the reason for this clock right here. Now, the last thing that we need to do is take an output from this redstone block right here for when it's in this position, run it out, and then run it into our piston over here, just like this, pushing that block inside and making this a complete circuit. So now let me show you exactly how this works. So let's spawn a couple of zombies up here, a couple of zombies. So they will all be pushed into the center there, and they will fall down on top of each other in a 1 wide right here. And then once this is activated, what you will see happen is this hopper clock will activate, and every time it comes back across, it will do a cycle. So when this reaches the 62 blocks that are in there, the bottom one is opened. It happens very, very quickly, and then you'll see the top one pushed back in again in just a second. So the bottom one opens, the water is pulled out, those mobs drop down, the bottom block is pushed back in, the top block is opened, the zombies drop in, and the water is flushed back over them all in one moment. And now we will be able to see these zombies get turned. So these zombies are now shaking. It has been a certain amount of time. You'll see that this is almost back up to our 62 again. You'll see in a few seconds here, these will all be changed to drowned. There they go. There's a little bit of buffer here, you saw. And then the water is pulled out. They are dropped down into the killing chamber, where you will be standing with your sword to kill them and get their drops into this chest down here. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this sword. You are going to want looting 3. You're going to want sweeping edge, and that's important because the babies will not always be within your reach, but with the sweeping edge, they will be hit if everything else is hit. Smite 5 is optional, but it kills them faster, so you'll need to swing less often, and you will want mending so this sword doesn't break over long AFK sessions. And then all you have to do is stand here with this on and swing away. So right now there's too much light for the spawner to work up at the top, but let me make it nighttime so that you can see exactly how this farm works. Now, when you're within the radius, it will spawn zombies, they will drop down and they will go into there. And it is basically just a cycle. So watch it over a certain amount of time. You will see them get dropped down, converted, dropped down, converted, and it will just keep happening over and over and over again, and you will be down here swinging away your sword, killing the drowned as they come down, and it is as easy as that. This is a super simple and elegant solution to the drowned issue and how to get copper reliably in 1.17 without having to go out and mine it. Now, those are the mechanics that makes this farm possible, and before I let you go, I will actually show you that in special circumstances in your world, you can find 2 spawners within a close enough range to each other to make it possible to use 2 of these at once and effectively double the rate of your farm. And you have to do that just by, and this is a one-off for every situation. I can't show you exactly how to make this farm, because they'll always be in a sort of different configuration, but you have to use a series of ice roads, and then this is a soil elevator to bring those ones up, bring those ones across, and then they're going into the exact same killing chamber here. So you can get these generated in the world. It is quite rare, but if you find one, you can get twice the speeds. Now that's going to be all for this episode. I will show you one more time the items that you need to be able to build this farm. It is quite simple, does not require much redstone. It is all there for you, but thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.